Hey guys, how's it going? Grindtastic Games back again. Happy Monday. I hope all of you guys had a happy Father's Day. If you have a father still, I hope you were able to see him, tell him how much you appreciate what he's done. If you never knew your father or if your father is gone, then I'm sorry that, you weren't able to tell them that, or in the case of not actually knowing your father, I'm sorry for that. For whatever the reason is, I feel for you because having a father can totally impact how you act in life and how things go. So, if it's just because the dad doesn't want to be a dad, then they missed out because as I'm getting older, I talk to my dad more and more, and we discuss things about like me and my wife are planning on having a kid in the next year or so, and I'm kind of getting the different, you know, aspects of how kids teach you patience, they teach you selflessness, they teach you all these really, really important things. And I just wouldn't. I feel like everyone should be able to learn from children the way that my dad did. So, anyways, I wanted to give you guys an update because we are uh, normally we're streaming on Saturdays, but fortunately this weekend I was out of town. Mrs. Grindtastic's grandma just died this last week, and we were out there with the family. And this really put a big thing on how I wanted to go on about the whole like grudges thing. I know I talked about it Friday, which I do want to touch on Friday's video really quick. I want to reiterate that last Friday's video was not anything about Butterbar or anything like that. Butterbar was just an example of the situation that I was talking about, with the idea of the world works for people in different ways. Sometimes luck is a big part of it, sometimes it's not. Because in order to be a success, you have to work hard and get lucky. Both. Just hard work won't do it. You have to get both. And I know that that's not what you're told in stories and in books, but that is the fact of the real world. You have to get both lucky and continue to work hard all the time. So it wasn't anything against Butter. It wasn't anything against, iniquity. It was purely the idea of the world works in mysterious ways. Don't let that hold don't let that hold you down and get you in an angry, grudgy type of way. So now that that's out of the way, I want to talk to you guys about what I really saw over the past week. So, like I said, Mrs. Grindtastic, her grandmother died last Monday at about 2:30 Central Time. And I get a call from Mrs. Grindtastic, and she's clearly upset. She lost her grandma. She was close with her grandma. Her grandma hadn't been doing well, so the last time she had visited, her grandma couldn't really communicate with anyone. And we kind of lost the ability to communicate with her. She could grip with her hand, and that's really the most she could do to let people know what she wanted or how she felt. So, with that, apparently the last time my wife was leaving visiting her grandma, she was just constant. She grabbed her hand and said, "I'll be right back." And with that, the her grandma just gripped her hand and wouldn't let go. And I guess that's what's sticking with my wife through all this. And it was a horrible thing. But I wanted to talk to you guys. I mean, this is from the point of view of someone who is close to an individual that just died and passed away. But not everyone is that way. The biggest thing that I could think of and see right in front of me was my sister-in-law. She despised her grandma because Now, on a little bit of a personal, like, observation side, my wife is a very, down to earth individual. Her sister was very much raised spoiled rotten. She was given everything she wanted all the time. Every boyfriend did anything she asked. Anything that needed to be done was done by someone else for her because that's just the way her life was. You know? We all know these types of people. And they drive me up a wall. I hate that shit. I hate it. So, she started getting in her grandma's face at like the age of 12 about how her grandma shouldn't be smoking, which she's right. It's bad to smoke, but every human being has the same ability to make decisions as every other human being. So, with that, a 12-year-old girl cannot view herself as some righteous figure just because she says and knows that smoking is bad. So, because her grandma wouldn't stop smoking because, well, it's addicting, my sister-in-law stops speaking to her grandma, stops visiting, doesn't want to have anything to do with her, and she specifically cites and tells her grandma that her grandma is the reason. And that is the most ridiculous thing to ever do to a family member. And honestly, I have to say that that is something that should not ever happen. Like, you can disagree with family members, but you should still love your family members and care for your family members. Don't, don't, don't ever let something small like personal decisions in your family member's life hold you down like that. Because, I mean, we have family members that vote both sides of the political aisle. We hold zero against our family members. Family is the most important thing in my family. If you turn your back on family, you get an extremely negative thing. If you, it's just there's never a good reason to completely abandon a family member and tell them to go screw themselves, basically. Never, ever, ever, ever in our book. And honestly, it totally changes the way that you live if you know that you can have a family member that does just about anything and they are still accepted. Because then I'm a nerdy ass YouTube commentator. I know that that's not anything bad. That's not anything negative. And in fact, my grandma, if I told her I did this, would probably view every single episode that I produce and put a comment on that says, "You did great. We love you." That is the type of person my grandma is. And that is the type of stuff that you don't get if you turn your back on family. So, while my wife is crying and sad and missing her grandma, her sister doesn't care. Her sister wasn't crying. Her sister wasn't upset by the fact that her grandfather just lost the love of his life. She wasn't affected at all. And with that, I looked at it and I just went, this is ridiculous. This should never be the case. Like, why? It was totally blowing my mind that any individual could actually have that kind of a view on all this. Like, blew my mind. But that's just me. Everyone's different. I understand that your family might not be the same as mine. You might not prioritize family as much as me. But just you don't get that chance to take things back once someone is gone. Butterbar lost his dad, and his dad was not at an age that you would expect to lose someone. I can just think personally, and it haunts me, because I've lost two grandparents, a couple of cousins, and my great grandmother. And it haunts me, the idea that what if you had a fight as the last thing between you and a family member? What if, all these things went so poorly that you couldn't take it back and your family member died maybe feeling like you two weren't as close as they had thought or something like that. And my whole point of this video is go tell your father, your mother, anyone that you need to, that you love them. Tell them that you accept them the way they are, and they will accept you the way you are. If not, then I guess you need to work it out. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry I rambled. Click one of the videos or the subscribe bubble, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.